We got a liquid devil. We got a liquid devil. We got a liquid devil RX 5700 XT. Yeah! So I wanted to show you guys my new toy, this just in, from PowerColor, their RX 5700 XT Liquid Devil. You guys want to see the box? Because boxes are fun, right? This is the box. Notice how it's not red, it's blue, because it's not the red devil like the one that we reviewed not too long ago, which was found to be a fantastic GPU, by the way. But this is the liquid-cooled variant of that same card. It's got a custom water block on it from EK that looks oh so fabulous. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But what's even more exciting is that these are using bin GPUs. They're completely cherry-picked, which guarantees them to clock higher out of the box. And these are very aggressively tuned from the factory as well. On paper, the spec is 2070 megahertz boost. In my testing, however, I found that boost to actually go a bit higher to around 2080 and 2090 megahertz sustained, which is a lot higher than the already pretty well-tuned Red Devil here, which was hovering around the mid-1900s megahertz range in my testing. Just like the Red Devil, this is using a custom PCB with a 10-phase power design compared to 7 phases on the reference design, so that's going to give us more reliability, more stability, and additional headroom for overclocking. We won't be overclocking this manually today. We're just going to be testing it stock out of the box because that's how I tested the Red Devil, and that's the card we're going to be comparing it to today. The Red Devil's an awesome card. If you guys remember in my video, the thermals and acoustics were way better than the reference design. However, performance wasn't all that much different. We were seeing maybe a couple frames difference here and there, so I'm hoping that with a bin GPU and an aggressive overclock from the factory that we're going to be seeing a bit more performance squeezed out of this particular Liquid Devil variant. We can definitely expect lower temperatures, however, because we're doing a custom block here. This is actually custom made from EK. It's a fantastic looking block. It's got some acrylic accents so you can see the liquid and RGB lighting through it. The RGB is fantastic, super bright, very vibrant, rich colors, and lots of different effects to choose from within the Devil Zone software. The block itself is full coverage, so we're contacting the GPU, memory, and VRM directly. It's nickel plated, has a copper base plate, anti-corrosion, and all that good stuff. Beautiful back plate, no RGB here, which I kind of like the understated look there. We have two 8-pin connectors for power and a fancy BIOS switch here, not like the one on the Red Devil. So the Red Devil has an OC and silent mode. This is OC and unleashed, if you can kind of see it there. Unleashed is just a ridiculous setting that puts it into overdrive. I mean, it basically cranks up the power target to 270 watts versus 230 watts on the OC mode. And of course, I'm going to run all of today's tests on the unleashed setting to show what this card's really made of. I really can't say enough about this water block. It's 100% EK quality. They did not skimp on this whatsoever. I love the design, the various design elements. It looks like an angry card. It looks so mean, and I think the machining quality is absolutely perfect and what you would expect from, you know, a top-tier EK product. This video is sponsored by the Corsair Virtuoso RGB wireless headset. Experience high-fidelity audio from a pair of 50mm neodymium drivers that deliver immersive 7.1 surround sound. A detachable high-bandwidth microphone provides exceptional clarity, while the combination of memory foam ear pads and a lightweight headband offers long-lasting comfort for hours on end. For more info on the Corsair Virtuoso RGB, click on the link in the description below. As for the rest of our testbed here, we have a Core i9-9900K from Intel, overclocked on all cores to 5 GHz. That's being cooled with a Celsius S36 from Fractal Design. That's on top of a Maximus 11 Hero Wi-Fi motherboard, 16 gigs of G-Skill Sniper DDR4 3200 speed. And as far as our custom loop is concerned, it's pretty modest. Let me come over here so we can take a closer look. Hey, girl. How you doing, little baby? So I've got a pretty standard loop setup. We've got some soft tubing going to a reservoir that's going to a D5 pump, also from EK, and then that's going to our 240mm Coolstream PE radiator from EK as well. If you guys notice, this is actually sort of a legendary radiator. One of the ones that was in the original Hotline. That's why it's painted gray. EK does not ship it in this color at all, so that was a mod done by me. But anyway, apart from that, we're going to be testing at 1920 by 1080 and 2560 by 1440. We'll take a look at max temperatures as well. And like I mentioned, you're going to see the data compared against the PowerColor Red Devil here, which is more or less the same GPU, just not binned and air-cooled. On that note, I can't really say much more until we look at the benchmarks. So, here we go. right, so based on the benchmarks, you guys saw that this thing definitely does outperform the Red Devil most of the time. At 1080p, after averaging all of the frame rates together, the Liquid Devil turned out to be about 2.7% faster on average, which isn't a whole lot, you know? I mean, you could probably just take another one of these cards and overclock it and probably get about the same sort of performance uplift. However, at 1440p, we saw bigger gains, around 5%. Kind of interesting because generally you see it flipped, where you'll see a higher performance gap at 1080p or at those lower resolutions where you're more CPU bound. But in this case, the Liquid Devil really shined at that higher resolution, which I think is almost more relevant because most people spending the money on a card like this are probably going to be gaming at resolutions higher than 1920 by 1080 anyway. Now, I can't really speak about noise a whole lot here because it's going to vary widely, like I said, from user to user depending on their custom loop. I'm just using two Corsair fans that I pulled off of an H100i Pro, and they've been plenty quiet. Compared to that, in case you're curious, I mean, the Red Devil is just a super quiet card in its own right. I really didn't notice a huge difference going from this solution to that solution. The one big difference here, probably what makes this card worth it to a lot of people, the temperatures. The temperatures are insane. I mean, we saw a GPU temp on the Red Devil max out at 72 degrees C. That was cut by 22 degrees on our Liquid Devil. You can see the same is true for our memory and VRM as well. I mean, this thing is an absolute animal when it comes to cooling power. And of course, there's a number of factors at play here, right? I mean, even though this is haphazardly set up, a custom loop like this does not come cheap. Plus, we have this quality water block from EK. Additionally, I think this is probably the most important thing, is the fact that we are using a cherry-picked binned GPU, which doesn't require as much voltage to run at these really high frequencies. Sorry, contractors, very loud. These really high frequencies, upwards of, you know, nearly 2.1 gigahertz, guys, on the core clock. So a really phenomenal job from PowerColor there. I have really nothing but good things to say about this card. That being said, it is $599 US. I was waiting until the very end. I wanted to give you guys the whole spiel of the card first before I laid down the price, because it is a fairly large pill to swallow. I mean, this card right here, the Red Devil air-cooled, this retails for about $150, $160 less. And to be honest, I treat you guys like friends or family. Whatever I would recommend my friends or family go out and buy with their own hard-earned money is what I would recommend for you guys. So if you're in sort of the market for a new GPU and you're like looking at, you know, these two cards right here, I would say go with the Red Devil, because this has the better value overall. You're saving $160 and you're really only sacrificing maybe at most 5% of gaming performance at 1440p. Sure, it's not as fancy looking and it's not ready to go for a custom loop, but most people just care about performance and frames per dollar anyway, as usually is the case with any sort of, you know, air-cooled versus custom liquid-cooled contest. The air-cooled version is almost always the better value. There is that small group of users who doesn't really give a damn about value. They're looking for the best of the best, no matter the cost. And if they're looking for particularly an RX 5700 XT and they want to have the most fun possible with AMD's latest and greatest flagship GPU, this is the RX 5700 XT to beat for 2019. As far as I can tell, it's the fastest and coolest running version of this GPU that we can find right now. That, of course, comes at a price. To be exact, a price that's 50% higher than an aftermarket air-cooled RX 5700 XT. It's a lot of dough, people. Having said that, if you're looking for the most balls-to-the-wall, no-compromise Navi GPU out there, and you don't care about spending the additional funds for it, this is your boy. For everyone else, something like this will do just fine. You guys feel free to blow up the comments, though, with your own opinions, your own thoughts, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Check out the merch store. There's Bitwit merch, new designs and stuff. All of it's really high quality and a great way to help support the channel. If you like what we do here, go ahead and check it out. Apart from that, guys, subscribe to the channel for more tech stuff coming at you really soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.